I'm Brittney Saunders and welcome to Big Business. And today you have landed in one of my bonus episodes. We do these for fun and I'm joined by Tommy again today. Welcome, Tommy.
Thanks for having me.
You've taken over Xander's spot, I feel, because usually Xander comes into the bonus episodes.
Xander has been very gracious letting me ask a couple of questions, so very much appreciate that, Xander.
I'm not gracious about it at all.
He's coming for your job.
Brittney.
Yes. Oh, you're going to interview me today.
Absolutely.
Oh, and by the way, if you didn't listen to our main episode, feel free to go and listen to that. It's from Monday this week, but we're here again for the bonus. And you're just jumping into asking me some questions.
Yes. One that I've got for you that I would love to know, someone who others would deem as very successful in their business and has achieved a lot of things recently, specifically in your business. How do you go at celebrating your wins? Because I feel like you're someone who is a hustler who just keeps going. You seem like, not in a bad way, but like unemotional, like shit doesn't faze you and you just push through and like, yep, this is what I do. You're like a worker, hustler bee. Yeah. But like, do you sit there and go, wow, this is awesome?
Nah.
And that's the end of the questions episode.
Next,
the bonus
thanks for coming on, Tommy.
But like, do you need to take more time to do that?
Yeah, but I think the hard thing with that is like, how do you celebrate your wins, I think. So we do little things and it's a great question because it gets me thinking like, do I celebrate my wins? And I honestly don't think I do. And I think I've had this conversation with you, Xander, as well. And it all comes back to like your self-worth and everything, which we spoke about. I would say that I celebrate my wins in small ways. Like AJ and I always love going out for dinner and we just have like a nice dinner and we don't really care about how much it costs kind of thing. And I see that as us treating ourselves, you know, for how hard we've worked kind of thing.
But is that an intentional thing? Like
Nah,
I did
it's
X
not.
or the store made X amount of money, so let's book this dinner.
But I see it in that way, but we don't go, let's book a dinner and celebrate. Or sometimes we will, or sometimes when we're out for dinner, we'll do a cheers with each other and be like, fuck, what a month or what a week or whatever. But it's never like an intentional celebration. And I guess another way that I think that we're unintentionally celebrating all of our achievements over the years is obviously we're doing up our house at the moment. So I'm seeing that as like a gift to ourselves to have this beautiful house exactly how we want it. And we're really going to get a lot of enjoyment out of that. But again, we're not doing that. Let's renovate our house because we've been working so hard kind of thing. But I see that as a celebration. But I think it's actually hard when you're in it. I feel like it's hard to celebrate your wins. And I don't know why. How
do you find working with a lot of your staff who are, from what I would observe, like a generation younger than you? Is that fair?
Yeah. Come on, I'm a millennial. Some of my staff are my age and the rest of them are younger than me.
How do you go with the generation of like people needing constant praise, constant pats on the back, they need to be told they're doing a good job all the time and they need to celebrate their wins? Do you find that tricky as a boss, coming into them and needing to pat them on the back for everything?
Yeah, and I think if you really want to go deep with this, Tommy, which we're obviously not going to because this is a bonus episode and we don't have 2 hours, but I think a lot of that...
Shots fired.
I think a lot of that would come from like the way that I was raised and how I've never had someone patting me on the back saying good job, therefore... That's why I think I'm not like an emotional person. And the way that we obviously celebrate our staff is in a multitude of ways. Like number one, putting great managers in place because, you know, we have over 60 staff now. So I can't solely be the one that's going around to every single person being like, good job today, because that would be a full-time job in itself. But doing special things with our staff, throwing great like networking days and events. So we've got some Christmas parties coming up, all those little things. I definitely am always mindful of wanting to show my appreciation in that way. But when you aren't an overly emotional person, that's actually really hard to do. But I also I think it's hard to expect for your boss to be able to do all of the things. And I've heard people say before, you can't be like the world's best manager and the world's best entrepreneur.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
Something that you forgot to mention, and it's something that
we do here on this podcast, but you also do in your business.
Oh, the wins folder.
So just for some context, we have on our Millinet page, which is a program we use to do all our organising, we have a little section called the wins folder. And it's just a little section where we throw in any articles written about us, like any big achievements, like if the podcast has gone number 1 on the charts for a week, we throw all that information in there. So like we basically just add it to the wins folder, so it's something that we can always go back to and kind of celebrate in our own way.
Yeah, and we have that with all of our staff. Like they have a wins folder and they know that whenever something great happens, like even if it's just a good review or like a reply to an email where someone's like, thank you so much for everything you've done. So our staff know to put their wins in their wins folders so that we can, when we get together, let's say like every quarter or whatever, like everyone can go through their biggest wins. But we've got one for the pod, but I don't have one for myself.
It'd be a bit funny if you just had your own little secret.
But I guess realistically, the pod and all your staff wins folder.
That's
are
my
your
wins too, absolutely. But to answer like your main question, like I don't think I celebrate the wins. But then again, like I feel like I don't need to because I feel like I'm winning every day. I know that sounds really cheesy, but I feel like I'm winning every day because I get to wake up every day and like love what I do. And I have never in the whole history of Fate for 7 years now, I've never woken up once and thought, fuck, I don't want to go to work today. Like I've never had that feeling. And that is a win in itself. Like I feel like I've won in life, but I do need to celebrate the wins more. But also, I mean, I could talk about this for hours. Like you feel like a wanker celebrating yourself.
But I feel like this generation is becoming better at
Yes.
accepting people for going, hey, I just did X, Y, Z. And everyone's like, that's awesome. Go you.
Yeah,
Good
I feel
work.
like it's like a generational thing and like tall
Definitely.
poppy syndrome in Australia of people seeing someone succeed and being like, yeah, that kind of thing. And then if someone's celebrating their success, it's like, well, you're stuck up and you're up yourself kind of thing. So I think you also have that mindset of not wanting to seem like a wanker.
Yeah, and there's a balance.
Yeah.
Something we've done at Nova Podcasts now is we have introduced the Golden Peacock.
Okay.
So basically, every single week now, one of us, and it's literally a statue of a golden peacock. We're awarded this golden peacock, and it's basically to recognise someone's achievements for the week and all the good things that they've done in the job.
Have you got it yet?
No, I haven't.
You're going to get it
We're
next
only in our
week.
second week, though.
Okay, so
Okay.
it's new. I love that. And in our stores, we also have like Superstar of the Month kind of thing where all of our stores collectively vote amongst themselves and then one person in the whole store company like wins a Superstar of the Month. I think they get a prize. I don't know exactly. But there's all sorts of things happening in the company where we're rewarding our staff. And we've gone completely off track from your question.
No, we haven't. We're still celebrating wins.
How would you say that I should celebrate my wins?
Ooh, flipping it back on me. Good
Yep.
one. Yeah.
Besides going out for dinner and renovating the house.
I think just taking note of like everything you've achieved.
Mm-hmm.
And really that's more important than dinners or renovating your house. Like just actually owning
Acknowledging.
what you've done and taking time to acknowledge that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like you're someone that works really hard all the time and you probably don't slow down to go, wow,
Holy
this is
shit.
really cool.
Sometimes I have those moments and I will say them when those moments come to me would definitely be at our store openings. That is when I'm standing back and like I'm out in the elements.
In the wild?
Yeah, and there's people everywhere and they're at the counter and they're flopping 10 items over the counter and they're walking out with their hands full and they're smiling and happy, or I see them in the change rooms. Like it's in those moments where I go, holy shit. When we do our store VIP nights, and again, I'm just out in our community mingling with everyone and people come up and say, thank you so much for this store. You know, like it's changed the way I shop. Like that's when I go, holy crap. So I definitely have those moments more when I'm like out and about connecting with our community. And we've got a special event coming up as well at the end of October or this month. And I know at that night I'm going to be like, holy shit. And you're going to be there. So I'll look out for you, Tommy. And I'll be like, I'm having that moment.
Yeah, we're celebrating the wins.
So it's definitely when I'm involved in our community that I feel that way. Need to do more parties then.
Yeah, invite me. We'll chat at them.
Yeah.
We'll celebrate the wins.
Perfect.
I've got one more for you. I've obviously got my own business and my wife is kind of slowly like dipping her toe into that water. I know you and AJ both work full-time in the business. Any tips or advice for how we navigate that?
Yep. I would say find out what both of your strengths are and make sure those things are completely different.
Okay.
If they can be.
Yep.
Or find your strengths that are different, because I think it would be, and again, I can't speak from experience, but obviously AJ and I have different skills that are like completely opposite. He's more of the logical person. I'm the creative that's going to go out there and move the business forward, and he's the one on the back end making sure it doesn't crumble. So those are our two different strengths, and I can only imagine it would be a lot more tricky to work with AJ if his strength was the same as mine.
If he was trying to give you advice on how to edit a video.
Yeah, or if he was wanting to be this, I mean, we put him in the content because everyone loves him, but if he wanted to do exactly what I could see us working on top of one another, and it may be causing conflict. So I would say for you and Maddie, if you are going to be wanting to work together more, is just like find both of your strengths and just find a good balance between the both of you so that you aren't in each other's pocket 24/7. I think that's really important.
Do you find it easy to separate work and then relationship time? Like, does work cross over in when we're going out for dinner, when we're sitting on the couch?
No, like yes and no, but again, like I don't feel like we don't work.
Yeah, okay.
So if we go out for dinner and something comes up about the day, we'll just chat about it, but we're not like, oh, let's talk about work quickly and talk about all these problems. Like it will just naturally come into our conversation. But I think it's all about just finding that balance with one another and finding those separate strengths rather than both doing the exact same thing in the business, which I know is hard for you because you are kind of doing the same job.
Yeah, we're both creatives that kind of think that way. Maybe I'll get Maddie to do some courses in Excel spreadsheets and
she can become
books.
the accountant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just important, like life and any relationship, is to find that balance if you are going to be working together and try to do separate roles rather than being on top of each other 24/7, because the last thing you want to be doing is like having arguments in your business that's in your relationship.
Yeah, and then
because that
it's
wouldn't be
messy
fun.
and yuck.
Yeah, so that's my advice to you.
Beautiful, thank you.
Well, thanks for being here, Tommy. See you again next week. Are you going to be like in every bonus from now on because you've kicked Xander out?
No, I think Xander does a great job, and again, graciously let me ask some questions to you today.
Well, I did weasel my way in a little bit, so
Yeah.
Thanks,
Anyone's
Tommy.
welcome in the bonus episodes, honestly.
Well, I'll definitely come down next week then.
All right.
Please don't, no.